Hi, welcome to this game. We're at Warhammer World playing on the fantastic Tower Research Station board. We're playing an Emperor's Will game. We've split the board on the diagonal down this line indicated by a tape measure. Space Marines have this side with their base is the landing pad in the top right hand corner there, and Dark Eldar have taken this side on the left with the bunker on the top left as their objective. We're really looking forward to playing it on what is a fantastic board. It's absolutely gorgeous. Hope you enjoy the game. So Dark Angels have won the role for the deployment, deploying first. At their base in the top right hand corner, that landing pad, they've deployed a single tactical squad broken out into two combat squads. There's a Predator in support with an autocannon. In that bunker you've got a Plasma Devastator squad. A Missile Launcher Devastator squad is poised into the research station supported by a speeder. You've got their Rhino to the right there, and you've got an Imperial Knight on with battle cannon holding up that left hand flank for them. In the trees you can just see there's another Predator with autocannon and a las cannon armed Razorback, and to the right of them, if we can have a look at this bunker, there's a full squad in there, not just two dudes with las cannon, another Predator and a Rhino for full squad in as well. Another Imperial Knight, this time with Melter, and a speeder, a whirlwind head in the trees there, and another squad in a Rhino ready to rush up the right flank. Supporting them, I'm going to come in from reserve, is 3 drop pods full of tactical squads, 2 aircraft and a Grey Knights contingent, so Storm Raven, Dread Knight, a Librarian and a unit of Terminators. The Warlord is a Librarian who's in one of the bunkers, and there's another Librarian with a Devastator squad who's going to go into the research station. So a pretty strong force. So now both sides are fully deployed. The Eldar are basically in a crescent from the generator over there to this unit of Reaver jet bikes over here, extending back to cover their base in the top corner. So let's start on the right here. So you've got a unit of Reaver jet bikes with cluster caltrops and a blaster, a fast attack Venom, a Ravager and another fast attack Venom, so a lot of Dakar on the right hand corner to try and stem the advance from what is quite a heavy Space Marine presence there. A Raider with Witches and a Succubus in it, and another Ravager. In the bunker to the left of them there's a unit of 5 Cableite just holding that, and they're supported by another fast attack Venom. The base is covered by another 5-man Cableite squad with 2 Reaver jet bikes deployed around the edges to try and stop drop pods from getting immediately onto the objective. There's a unit of Witches in that bunker there ready to charge out, and another fast attack Venom, a Ravager, a unit of Witches in a Raider just behind the trees there, and some Trueborn with 2 Dark Lancers in that bunker there. So they should be able to put some fairly effective fire on that flank. In the trees here we have a Ravager, the empty Raider which the Riches of the bunker use, and behind the generator there on the left you can see another unit of Reaver jet bikes, so 4 units of Reaver jet bikes in total. In reserve we have an Archon who's the Warlord leading some Blasterborn and a Raider, another unit of Blasterborn, 2 units of Scourgers and 2 units of Incubi led by Homunculus, and another 2 Razor Wings. So quite a lot of models to come on. Dark Eldar chose not to try and seize the initiative, so Dark Angels take turn 1. There's a general moving forward on the left flank as they decide to capture the research station there. The Devastator squad has entered the building. They're on the roof there, but in fact they're actually in the base of the building there. They haven't yet moved on the ramparts. That Rhino has moved up on the right and popped smoke. Dreadnought taking cover behind it. In the centre, they've largely held steady. That speeder has popped forward, and at the base that tactical squad is held where it is to make sure there's some protection against my deep striking units. This Rhino has zoomed up and popped smoke again, and the Knight has taken cover behind the generator with another land speeder moving up behind him, and this Rhino has moved sharply around the right flank, again popped smoke. 2 drop pods came in pretty well positioned, just dropping in beside the generator, they focused all of their fire on this raider of witches on the right, including 2 flamer shots, and didn't do any damage. It is jinking, but no occupants killed, despite the no escape rule, and no damage, so a little bit of a whiff there. They did draw blood though. First blood goes to Dark Angels, with a Ravager destroyed from the Imperial Knight and a Venom over there on the left dead. 1 bike's gone, and I think they failed their morale test and run away after this. And that raider there with the succubus in is now jinking and has taken a hull point. So some effective fire, but not devastating by any means. Dark Eldar have an awful lot in reserve, so their turn 1 has been pretty uneventful. They're also waiting for power from pain to power up, so they're holding back for that. Over on the left hand flank, the witches that were in this raider have got out and have charged into some of the marines over there with an indeterminate combat. Both sides taking casualties, but no overall winner. Over here where these drop pods have dropped in, we've managed to put some effective fire on them from the venoms in the backfield, but other than that we haven't actually done much damage. These witches have left the building, attempted to charge these marines in the jungle, but failed their charge, even with fleet. Took them 3 casualties from Overwatch, so they're in a bit of trouble now. They'll probably get gunned down as they're effectively caught out in the open. It's probably going to end very badly for them. Units covering the base have continued to hold back. There's another drop pod to come in, and there's some Grey Knights to drop in as well through Deep Strike, so very much covering that base. This Ravager has taken some pot shots at the Imperial Knight over there and managed to get 1 wound on him, which is great, despite the cover save he gets from, his invulnerable save I should say, from the Ion Shield. The 2 Venoms, as said, have popped out and put some fire on the Marines, I think killing 3 Marines, so it wasn't an effective fire, but there's a lot of Marines to get through. This Ravager took a shot on the Rhino that's advanced towards him, and despite his smoke save, put 1 hull point on him, but not shaken or stunned or mobilised or anything, which would have been a great result. Single Reaver has pluckily zoomed into the backfield and is going to try and take on that Whirlwind. Not the one with cluster caltrops, unfortunately, so he'd be lucky to do much damage. And this Raider took a shot but didn't do any damage. He missed. So the centre there very much untouched by Dark Eldar fire. Over on the right flank, this Ravager shot the Rhino, again for a hull point on him, but no further damage, just a glancing hit. This Raider with his succubus has flat out moved behind these trees. We're over behind those trees and has moved there. And this Venom has also flat out moved. There's basically no infantry to shoot at, so that is the best place for them to go. So not a very effective turn for the Dark Eldar. No units destroyed. Couple of hull points dished out and some casualties on the infantry. So the Dark Angels, by contrast, have a fantastic turn too. In the centre here, they've surged even further forward. This Imperial Knight has fired his battle cannon, and he's fired that across into these units behind here. That Raider is wrecked now, and the Succubus and the Witches have been dumped out, and the Ravager has taken a hull point. I see one of the Rhinos has raced forward as well, and is nearly across to engage those guys. The Venom over here has taken a hull point and been immobilised, and that's after fire from the Predator with the autocannon over there. I think the land speeder with the rockets didn't manage to hit anybody, but pretty successful turn. These guys have moved up onto the roof, snapshotting, so they haven't actually managed to hit anything, but they now have a wonderful panoramic view of the battle, and with 48-inch rockets should be able to rain down death anywhere. These guys in the bunker of the las cannons shot at a Ravager over here and managed to destroy it. And they also managed to, I think the Predator with the autocannon managed to put a hull point on that Raider in the front there. Grey Knights have deep struck in with a new formation. They can run on the turn they arrive, so they've scattered out, fired a flamethrower at the bunker through the Venom there, immobilising the venom, putting a hull point on it, killing every single man in the bunker, and taking a hull point off the bunker as well. So pretty good shot from the Grey Knights there. You can see why they're elite. This guy has also come in, zoomed onto the board, unleashed all of his missiles, and caused that Ravager to jink. And the other Ravager has been also hit by the land speeder behind there. I think he managed to take a hull point off him, and he was subsequently wrecked by fire from the Imperial Knight, who's moved up over here. Over on this side, third drop pod has come in, disclosure contents, and as I predicted, they've unleashed hell upon the witches in the front ground there, and they've also shot and taken one of the bikes out as well. So those witches have taken morale tests, see if they'll hold. We haven't done assaults yet, so this assault with the witches is still ongoing. This raider took a load more fire and took a hull point, I think, from the drop pods. So this Imperial Knight is looking ready to assault this bunker. Behind him, Dread Knight's dropped in, used his flamethrower to hit the bunker and taken out both the Dark Lancers, which is gutting. So sniped them out. So behind the Imperial Knight there, you can see a Rhino just behind those trees. He's scooted up to around the flank there, but before doing so he's dropped off one of his combat squads. They've shot at that Reaver, didn't manage to kill him, but has forced him to jink. But quite happy that he's still there and is surviving. So we haven't done assaults yet, so let's move to that. So as predicted, the Imperial Knight has assaulted the bunker and hit it with its massive chainsword, basically destroying it and killing every single person inside. Got to be pretty happy with that. In terms of this fight with the witches have finally gained the upper hand. One Marine squad's been cut down to one guy and has withdrawn from the combat. The other squad's down to just the one guy, and he's holding them up, which is unfortunate because really would like to get those witches assaulting the other squad that's out there. As it is, they'll probably kill him and then be left to be shot in the Dark Angel's turn. So Dark Eldar did quite well on their reserve rolls and got quite a lot in on turn 2. So you can see a Razor Wing has zoomed in from the left there. He's taken a shot at the Imperial Knight, but didn't actually manage to defeat his armour, which was unfortunate. Blasterbone dropped in behind the Imperial Knight. The Imperial Knight put his iron shield against the rear and deflected all the shots, which was really surprising. 5 good shots going in there, but he managed to make a lot of saves. What was effective was Scourge were haywire on the side, put 2 hull points on him. Unit Cablite came in and with the help of Splinter Axe destroyed 3 of those Marines in that squad there, and Unit Scourge with short carbines killed 1 there after a pretty good deep strike roll. This is a unit of Incubi for Homunculus. They scattered into that position, very nearly going off the board, but right on the Marine base, and they're a pretty fearsome unit, so he's going to have to deal with them. The Lancers on all those raiders fired at the rear armour of that Predator and did nothing. A lot of 1s rolled. I was really like to have smoked that because that thing's a real threat with that autocannon. Over on the other side, this fight resolved as predicted. That Marine succumbed and the witches consolidated into the wood. The other Marine that was standing on his own got shot. Up above there, the witches reformed. We managed to get a shot onto that Rhino, and over here 3 Reavers jumped into these Marines here and lost 2 casualties for 1 inflicted, so a bit disappointed with that. The guys in the top right there weren't very effective, didn't manage to put down any effective fire on anybody, unfortunately. Right, so Imperial turn 3. The Knight has stomped up on this right flank, fired his thermal cannon into the base at the back there, and killed all the occupants in there, and also managed to cause the Ravager to take a hull point. He's then got stuck into the witches with an assault, which has killed a few witches, but he hasn't managed to kill them all and they're still holding. These fights at the back here are just ongoing, and a unit of Marines has charged the remnants of the witches over here on the left. Again, indeterminate fight, nobody winning. This Storm Raven fired at the back here, but didn't do actually much damage, caused a little bit of jinking. That was it. These Grey Knight Terminators are moving around the building. They've cast invisibility on themselves. They've just come away from the venom which they wrecked in hand-to-hand combat. So an invisible bunch of Terminators is not good news for me. This Rhino is just moving up the midfield. I'm not quite sure what he's going to be used for. Here at the back, this squad's advanced on this Reaver, shot at him, failed to kill him again. The Reaver did last turn manage to put a hull point on the Whirlwind and stun it, which was pretty good going from him. In the centre, a lot of the assets have turned around, are now going to head back to the Marine base where that's under threat. From reserve, this Storm Talon's come on and shot the Incubi's raider out from under them and killed 2 of the Incubi. Blasterborn have also lost their raider. I think that was fire from the Imperial Knight. And this raider is jinking after taking 2 hull points. That's probably not going to last long. Also lost a Scourge. Dark Eldar turn 3, the Archon arrives from reserve, and that heralds the doom for one of the Imperial Knights. Over beside the base, the Imperial Knight that's lumbering towards it has been destroyed, causing 1 hull point in the explosion to that Razor Wing. It's that raider there that's just deep struck through Webway portal and dumped 6 shots into its rear that's caused the damage, together with 2 shots from Scourges. Over here, we've managed to take the hull points in that building down from the Blasterborn, 2 hull points off, and destroyed all the tactical squads out of here as a combination of fire and a charge from the Incubi. It's massive overkill. But that puts the Imperial base well and truly in Dark Eldar hands. This Predator has been shot in the rear by that aircraft, exploding it, which is a good outcome. So 2 vehicles destroyed. This Razor Wing came on, put a couple of shots in the Imperial Knight, but didn't do anything. Over in the centre here, this tactical squad has been assaulted by the Incubi after an incredible charge. Rolled double 6s basically, need 11 to get in. And the Succubus has caused havoc, killing 3 guys. But they have held on, which is stopping her from getting stuck into the centre. Over at the Dark Eldar base, these fights with the Witches and the Marines are holding on. But the one with the Reaver jet bikes has ended. The Reaver died, which frees these 2 squads to advance on the base. The Imperial Knight has not been damaged and is still a threat. But he has been held up by 1 witch in combat. She's doing a sterling job. So the Marine base very much in Dark Eldar hands, which is fantastic, but the Dark Eldar base under threat from those Grey Knights and those tactical squads, as well as that Storm Raven. So my guess is next turn it will probably fall. So we got a little bit overexcited at the end of Imperial turn 4 and moved some of the Dark Eldar units before we remembered to shoot the video. So apologies, it's a little bit confusing, but as you can see, Imperial forces are very much in the Dark Eldar base, with very little opposition left there. Pretty much everyone's been killed. There is 1 raider moving around the centre field, but that's not going to be much of a threat. Another Imperial flyer has gone in. The other Imperial flyer has gone into hover mode, and they've fired very heavily at the units that are in the Marine base. So more casualties, but still in Dark Eldar hands. Scourge still alive after some concerted efforts to kill them, and I'm afraid the raider with the Archons have been immobilised, which is really unfortunate. Those Dark Eldar Blasterborn would be really useful. The other thing is the Succubus has been held up. Amazingly, those 2 Marines are still alive, allowing their fellows to withdraw and head into the centre. That Storm Raven popped across from the other side, but didn't really manage to do any damage. He's whiffed pretty much every turn so far, which is amazing for a Storm Raven. In terms of the Dark Eldar base, as you can see there, Grey Knights are just about to enter. Tactical squads are just about to hop over the wall. There's an entire Rhino full of Marines there. they're in a very good position to take it. Okay, Dark Eldar turn 4. The final unit of Incubi arrived from reserve. They were supposed to deep strike there, but they actually ended up drifting over there. All the Incubi bailed out and started to head over the wall so they could swamp the base. The other unit of Incubi withdrew, and a Reaver jet bike did a flat out move from right the way over there to also help cover the base, just trying to get as many bodies on this base as possible. Remaining infantry hopped over the wall and assumed defensive positions. The Razorwing jet fighter came across, tried to knock out the other flyer, did nothing, completely whiffed. The Scourges in the centre had a go at the Dreadnought there and immobilised them, which is super useful. Last turn, this Raider with the Archon in it was immobilised, and I've left him in there. I don't want the Archon wandering around and potentially losing me Slay the Warlord. This unit of Devastators atop was hit by the still alive Venom, managed to kill 2 of them per wound on the Warlord, not the Warlord, on the Librarian. It's fantastic. This fight finally finished, and the Dark Eldar managed to consolidate a little bit further up, but I don't think that unit's going to make any difference now. And that Ravager shot and also hit the Dreadnought, but it's still alive, just immobilised. So looking pretty good around that base for the Dark Eldar. This unit of Reaver jet bikes were originally in the base but got out of dodge before it got swamped. I can then use those to nip in and potentially contest the objective if he can't get any troop choices on there. So the only thing I've got left there at the moment is a Ravager. It shot and killed a couple of tactical marines, but otherwise hasn't done anything. The last witch that was holding up that knight got cut in half with his massive chainsaw, so he's now free to stomp forward as well. And you've got those grey knights and that rhino full of tactical marines ready to swamp the objective. So we began to run out of time, and we agreed that turn 5 would be the last turn of the game. We've shot one video just to show you the end position at the close of the game. As you can see, the Dark Eldar are still holding on to that objective, but there's a Storm Talon gone into hover mode, which is contesting it, so it doesn't count for objectives. Warlord's Raider got destroyed, but he's still alive, so he hasn't conceded points. I think if it had gone on another turn, there's a lot of Dark Angel's forces moving on that objective. The Dark Eldar would have been shot off it. The Dark Eldar objective, the Ravager unbelievably still alive, and 2 Reaver jet bikes were shot forward to contest it, but 2 tactical marines managed to get close enough to objective secured the objective and therefore claim it for the Dark Angels. So that's 3 points in the bag for them. So just moved back here to the Dark Angels objective. As you can see, Incubi all over it, but still contested. So it was a fantastic game. The Dark Angels took it with 1 objective for 3 points, Linebreaker and First Blood, whereas the Dark Eldar only had Linebreaker. But I think it was a lot more even than that, which the final scoreline suggests. I'd say man of the match for the Dark Angels was probably the Humble Tactical Marine. They were the ones that actually secured the objective at the end. And their ability to swamp the Dark Eldar objective through drop pods was absolutely telling. On the Dark Eldar side, it was probably the Scourges. They were instrumental in knocking out a Predator, a Dreadnought, and critically an Imperial Knight, which for 120 points is pretty amazing. We had a fantastic day. Warhammer World is a brilliant venue. We always have a really good time when we go there. If you haven't been, we strongly recommend going. The boards are incredible, and the staff are just incredibly friendly as well. So that's it for this game. I'll leave you with some of the photos of the day.